On November 13th, a large-scale police raid took place at a Chinese-owned truck company's repair shop in Helendale, Southern California. Over 10 armed officers stormed the garage, handcuffing 6 people on site and holding them under surveillance for nearly 2 hours. The authorities thoroughly searched the entire facility, breaking car windows to inspect several vehicles. It wasn't until the search was complete that they presented a search warrant. Fortunately, no one was injured or arrested, but all workers were left shaken by the ordeal. The truck company's owner, Mr. Guan, told the media that the raid occurred around 6:30 a.m. at his repair shop in Helendale. The facility is typically used for the maintenance and repair of his company's commercial trucks. Besides 5 mechanics, other drivers occasionally visit to drop off or pick up vehicles. Mr. Guan explained that the repair shop had just opened, and everyone was starting their work when suddenly over 10 men burst in, most of them armed and wearing bulletproof vests. Some had police written on their clothing, and helicopters were seen hovering over the area. The employees said no one explained the purpose of the raid, but from the officers' gear, they assumed they were police. According to the workers on site, the 5 mechanics and a truck driver who happened to be present were handcuffed and forced to sit on the ground. The police ordered them not to move. At one point, another driver arrived to drop off a truck for repair. The police told him to return in 5 hours. The truck driver was so shocked by the scene that he immediately called the boss's wife. She then contacted the officers at the scene, who told her to return over an hour later. Mr. Guan stated that the entire search lasted nearly 2 hours. Officers thoroughly searched the repair shop, even the area where workers kept chickens, ducks, and sheep. The workers were confused because, although they were present and had the car keys, the officers still broke the windows of several vehicles to search them. The workers said they didn't know what the police were looking for, nor what was eventually taken. It wasn't until the search was complete that the officers removed the handcuffs from everyone, presented the search warrant, and asked each person to show their ID. Workers at the scene noted that some of the search warrants were marked with San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Some workers said the raid seemed to involve 3 or 4 law enforcement agencies, but they couldn't confirm which ones due to the panic of the moment. Many workers said they were terrified and didn't dare to move, too afraid to even ask for water. Mr. Guan mentioned that the day before the raid, one of his truck drivers was stopped by the police at an intersection farther from the shop. The police asked why he was driving the truck, and after the driver explained he was taking it in for repairs and maintenance, he was allowed to go. The driver didn't think much of it and didn't report it to Mr. Guan. Little did he know, the next day the raid would take place. Mr. Guan emphasized that he had not been notified of the raid in advance. Fortunately, his employees all had legal status, and his business is lawful. But the police's actions caused considerable shock for his staff and drivers. Although truck drivers earn good wages, they have increasingly become targets for ICE raids and searches. Recently, Chinese-American immigration lawyer Andrew He in California has been busy, as the frequency of ICE raids and arrests has risen significantly. He has been receiving many calls for help from Chinese immigrants. In September, one of his Chinese truck driver clients was detained by ICE. After entering the U.S. through a certain route, the client immediately applied for political asylum, which is still being processed. The client has received a work permit card, commonly known as a C8 card, and has obtained a commercial driver's license to drive trucks in New York. According to lawyer He, the client was stopped by ICE on the highway, and due to limited English, he didn't fully understand the questions and may have given incorrect answers. He is currently still in ICE detention. He told reporters, being a truck driver is one of the better jobs for those who come through unofficial routes. There's plenty of work as long as you're willing to put in effort. Typically, a diligent worker can earn about $10,000 a month. Of course, it requires driving skills and basic understanding of English, so it's not entirely without barriers. At the beginning of November, a video went viral online showing what seemed to be a Chinese truck driver being questioned by police on his English skills. The video showed the driver being interrogated at the side of the road and asked to undergo an English proficiency test. Many netizens commented that the video was awkward to watch. Here is their conversation.
Do you understand English? You do? Why did you park here?
Do you speak English? Yes. Why did you park your car here? I've been parked for 3 hours. Are there others in the truck? My company. What company do you work for? California? Your company is called California? Yeah. Alright, you don't speak English. The driver struggled to communicate, constantly asking what, while the police, frustrated, instructed him to put on his clothes. However, the driver couldn't understand and kept repeating the question. The police said, "Put your clothes on, your pants, put your pants on. You don't understand English."
Put some pants on. Yeah. You don't understand English.
After the video was exposed, many netizens pointed out that the truck belonged to a Chinese transport company in California. They all agreed that the driver clearly lacked basic English communication and traffic sign recognition skills, posing a potential safety risk. What's even more concerning is that such situations are not isolated. According to reports, the U.S. Department of Transportation has stated that since June 2025, around 6,000 commercial truck drivers have been suspended or had their service canceled for failing the English proficiency test. The English proficiency test for U.S. truck drivers was fully reinstated on June 25th. Mr. Qi, the owner of a Chinese truck company in Industry, California, said that on the first day the regulations were reinstated, one of the drivers, A, was caught in Arkansas. At the time, A was returning from Los Angeles, heading to Alabama. He learned from another driver, B, that when A's truck entered a wait station in Arkansas, the officer asked in English, "What is today's date? Where did you come from? And where is the cargo going?" However, A could not respond. A later explained that using his phone's translation, he understood the officer's questions but was unable to answer. Driver B said the officer was friendly, not at all as stern as rumored. The officer communicated through B and told A that because both drivers lacked basic communication skills, they could not continue driving. The truck was temporarily held, and the company was required to send a driver with sufficient English skills to take over and drive the truck away. Mr. Qi explained that at the time of the incident, 3 of his company's trucks had just passed through the inspection station nearby, so he immediately asked driver B to help. Unable to get an Uber, they eventually called for roadside assistance. Driver B also learned from the officers that the ticket given to driver A did not include a fine amount. The officer explained, "This is like your routine vehicle inspection. Since you've violated the rule, you need to correct it. If you believe your English has improved and you can communicate with the police, you can continue driving. But if you still can't manage and insist on driving, the fine can go up to $10,000. The ticket was considered a first warning. The officer also informed them that, after receiving the warning ticket, A could not work as a truck driver at any other company until his English skills improved. On September 29th, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt announced that the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, OHP, in collaboration with ICE, had conducted an operation called Operation Guardian along Interstate 40 in western Oklahoma, targeting truck drivers. The operation led to the arrest of over 125 illegal immigrants from countries including India, Uzbekistan, China, Russia, Georgia, Turkey, Tajikistan, Ukraine, and Mauritania. According to state government documents, the OHP discovered that several drivers held commercial driver's licenses under the asylum state process. A New York-issued license, released by the state, was found with the name "No Name Given," and Governor Stitt considered these individuals a threat to public safety. Truck drivers have already been a primary target for ICE for several months now. Not just Chinese drivers, but in recent years, many Chinese immigrants, especially those using unofficial routes, have wanted to become truck drivers, explained He. He also told reporters that the White House issued an executive order in April this year to strictly enforce English proficiency requirements for commercial drivers. Police are authorized to stop drivers and test their English proficiency. Drivers who cannot read or speak fluent English will be deemed unfit for the job. He also highlighted that in July of this year, a Chinese-owned driving school in Flushing, New York, called TNE Driving School, was allegedly involved in a long-running scheme to bribe employees at the New York Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV. The school arranged for impersonators to take written and road tests on behalf of clients who had not taken their exams, helping them obtain driver's licenses. He emphasized that most of the school's clients were immigrants from China, with some lacking legal status. During the investigation, law enforcement agencies uncovered about 150 driver's licenses that were suspected to have been obtained illegally. Such criminal cases involving the Chinese community may make Chinese truck drivers more likely to face inspections. According to a report from the Daily Caller on October 6, with the support of Chinese government-linked networks, including the nonprofit the Chinese American Trucker Organization USA, headquartered in New York, illegal Chinese immigrants are obtaining commercial driver's licenses, CDLs, and finding work in the U.S. trucking industry. The chairman of the board of the Chinese American Trucker Organization USA Inc., Geng Xing, has held leadership positions in several Chinese government-linked branches and United Front organizations in the U.S., including serving as vice president of the American Shanxi Chamber of Commerce, which is a branch of the Shanxi Provincial Department of Commerce. The American Shanxi Chamber of Commerce is also a sister organization to the China Overseas Friendship Association, a United Front entity, an organization or group that is part of China's United Front Work Department. The American Shanxi Chamber of Commerce has met with Chinese government officials multiple times. According to its business documents, website, and social media posts, the Chinese American Trucker Association has helped over 1,000 Chinese students obtain commercial driver's licenses, with a 100% success rate. One individual who illegally crossed the southern U.S. border posted a video on social media, claiming that after attending a course by an instructor from the association, they quickly obtained a commercial driver's license. Analyst Mr. Z stated, "Truck drivers are a major target for illegal immigration, and the Chinese American Trucker Association and its affiliated truck shops clearly have connections to the CCP. These organizations are systematically providing fake driver's licenses to illegal immigrants from China. However, based on the characteristics of the recent raid at a California truck shop, law enforcement seems to have a deeper motive than just targeting illegal immigrants. The presence of armed officers who stormed the factory and smashed car windows doesn't resemble a routine inspection. It seems like they were looking for something very important, either people, goods, or both. The person they are looking for is not a typical illegal immigrant, but someone considered a threat or an important figure by the U.S. government. As we previously mentioned, the Trump administration has already recognized that a large number of Chinese immigrants, including many single men with connections to the Chinese military, have been entering the U.S. over the past year. These individuals have complex backgrounds and varying missions. Upon arriving in the U.S., they first settle in Chinese-run warehouses and restaurants in California, and these Chinese truck shops may serve as their base of operations after they settle in. Mr. Z believes that the second possibility is that the officers were searching for goods. Although further information is lacking, it is likely they were looking for illegal goods smuggled from Mexico, which would then be transported by trucks to various locations across the U.S. On November 10th, Chinese authorities announced that the United States, Mexico, and Canada will be included in a new list of countries subject to tighter management of chemicals used in drug production. However, investigations have shown that Chinese chemicals are key drivers in the global drug trade. Analysts suggest that while Beijing may appear to be abandoning fentanyl, it is not giving up on exporting drugs to Western societies. Australian legal scholar Yuan Hongbing recently disclosed more of the Chinese Communist Party's internal strategies, stating that fentanyl, along with precursor chemicals for drug production, is being exported to specific Western countries and regions. This is a fundamental national strategy established under Xi Jinping's leadership. During the Trump administration, Xi had already issued a directive on the fentanyl issue. The gist of it was that the U.S. fentanyl crisis was the result of America's moral decline, much like how Western powers used opium to open the doors of the Qing dynasty, leading to its rapid collapse. Now the situation has reversed. With the widespread drug abuse in the West, it is a clear example of the East rising as the West declines. With this directive from Xi Jinping as the foundation, China's National Security Council has established a core strategy to export precursor chemicals to specific countries and regions, mainly North America, Europe, and Australia. This will remain a core policy of the CCP that is unlikely to change. Regarding Beijing's commitment to halt the production of fentanyl precursor chemicals, U.S. National Security Advisor and China expert Casey Fleming also weighed in.
Nothing happens in China without the Chinese Communist Party's knowledge and approval. Otherwise, it just would not happen, or you would be punished, if you will. So, you're no agreement that the Chinese Communist Party has ever entered into have they ever honored. So this is the same thing. They'll fade a little bit. They'll say, okay, fine. So for 90 to 120 days, you will see a reduction in the fentanyl, but then it'll slowly creep back. That's really their plan.
Fleming said that China's overall strategy is that they are in a war with the United States, not just with drug warfare with fentanyl, but also many other methods of unrestricted warfare to weaken the enemy for complete takeover. He does not believe there is anything permanent and that China is just playing the US once again. Fleming emphasized that Americans must take matters into their own hands, not through violence, but by ceasing to buy Chinese products and services. He suggests starting with small electronics and expanding to all tech products, followed by consumer goods such as cosmetics and food. He urged people to make personal decisions to stop supporting the Chinese Communist Party, which he described as a threat to children, lifestyles, and a nation. According to a report from the UK, dozens of drug suppliers are advertising through Western social media and music platforms, shipping highly potent substances from China. These drugs are 5 times stronger than fentanyl and are produced in Chinese laboratories. Some suppliers use courier services, labeling the packages with false information, while others hide the drugs in fake packaging, such as dog food bags, and smuggle them into the UK, guaranteeing safe delivery. Most suppliers claim to be legitimate companies selling safe drugs, often with professional websites. Some Chinese suppliers even offer bulk purchase discounts. An internet user raised the question, what exactly were the police searching for during the raid at the truck repair shop? Was it just illegal immigrants who don't speak English? Or were they looking for the latest form of drugs disguised as dog food? Or were they also hunting for the mules transporting this dog food? What do you think?